You're listening to the Multiverse Fancast, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
All right then, on with the show.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Multiverse Fancast. If you guys are listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and basically anywhere you listen to podcasts. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Paul, and with me today is Ronnie. Ronnie, how are you today?
Woo! That's how I'm doing.
And
how about you?
Oh, okay. I'm just ducky today.
Woo! Howard the Duck.
And we have Rob.
Hey! You can fix that in post. Hey, everybody! It's good to hear you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rob, and I'm in apparently rare form, and I'm consistently annoying Paul with the recording levels.
And by the way, I think you got upgraded because he didn't say unofficial, official.
Oh my God! Did I just get a promotion?
You guys were talking too much. I couldn't get any words in. So we are here tonight, and we are going to be doing a little bit of discussion on Marvel Phase 4 and beyond. Basically, where we think the MCU is headed. We just finished our first batch of MCU-based shows with WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki. And we are moving very quickly into what-if territory, followed by the next set of releases. We also had Black Widow, but it really did not move too much forward, except for the last post-credit scene.
Yep.
So we are going to do a little bit of speculating, a little bit of trailer discussion, a little bit of what we want to see, what we don't want to see. Rob brought notes, Ronnie learned how to write, and I brought nothing to the table, and that's why I'm hosting. So that is everybody's rule.
That's his punishment for the week.
No, my punishment is having you guys at my house on a Friday night. Yeah. My wife is out. Producer Melanie is out doing whatever. Well, no. I'm here with you guys, and
she's so smart.
Yeah, she's the smart one. Well, Rob's been sitting here drinking some sort of adult beverage.
No, it's a soda, right?
It's just a soda, just some pop, guys. And Ronnie is apparently a
drinking
teenage girl
seltzer.
drinking his seltzers. I have nothing.
I'm just trying to be healthy.
Just trying to lose 5 pounds, guys. I want to have that. I want to go from Thor in Endgame to Thor in Thor 11 Thunder. Have you seen some behind-the-scene photos? He is yoked in that.
I've seen Jane. I've seen Natalie Portman behind-the-scene photos.
Yeah, she looks great too.
Yeah,
good for her.
She's got guns.
Guns for days, and she went to Harvard. So we are going to start off as per usual with a little bit of news.
That's the 1960s.
News roll.
Oh, I thought it was R2-D2 having a stroke.
Oh, a stroke. I thought it was something else.
So, in news this week, we have a couple of items. First of all, since you mentioned it, Black Widow, in its second weekend, fell to number 2 behind Space Jam 2.
Oh, God, that movie was so bad.
Was it? I didn't see it.
I did not see it. I will refuse to see it.
Timmy watched it twice, and he said it was all right. But
I can't support
according to the numbers, Black Widow only brought in $26.2 million in its second domestic weekend, whereas Space Jam brought in $31.6 million. So now that is a 67% decline for Black Widow.
One of the biggest drops in
That is huge. Now, some of that could be attributed to the pandemic and theater-going audiences. Some of it could be attributed to Disney audiences on Disney+.
Well, theaters are blaming Disney+. A lot of movie theaters are really upset with the fact that you can just watch these from home. But it's not like it was when the pandemic first started, when really, even if you had a movie at a theater, you were only getting, like, what did we go see that there was only like 5 of us there? Was it Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman, yeah.
Yeah, Wonder Woman, there was like 5 of us.
And that was the first one that came out.
Yeah,
on
that was
HBO
one of the
Max.
So, and then obviously Justice League came out, but that was purely HBO Max. Mortal Kombat came out around the same time. Godzilla vs. Kong.
Just as a point of comparison, the last Marvel movie that was released in theaters was Spider-Man: Far From Home, which had only a 51% decline in its second weekend. So 67 is steep. Now, if you listen to our previous episode about Black Widow, you might notice that we were all kind of meh about the movie, that we were not that thrilled with it. We thought it was very mediocre Marvel, that there were some good intentions behind it, but that it was a lot of just No, it didn't.
Nonsense.
Yeah, it didn't push anything forward. There were some really ridiculous twists to it, and it didn't really last in our brains very much past seeing it. So that might attribute it.
Much like Space Jam, it's 10 years too late.
Oh, really?
Space Jam, not to get off topic too much, but they do involve superheroes in Space Jam, which was actually relatively funny.
You don't have to justify it. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. They do a lot. Like, they have a scene where the granny is Trinity in The Matrix. 10, 15 years ago, that might have been culturally relevant.
1999 is the Matrix game.
Like, that might have been a little bit more relevant 15 years ago, 10 years ago even, you could push. But, like, really, the Matrix, like, who's your audience at this point? So, like, it was...
Well, that's the thing, though. The audience was us, but they didn't make it for us. Like, I saw a bunch of... Like, I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen, like, articles and people like, oh, a bunch of, like, 30-year-olds are like upset with the movie. Don't they realize that the movie's for kids? And it's like, no, it's actually made for those 30 to 40-year-olds that
I would say
watch
most kids don't know who Bugs Bunny is.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah.
But I would also argue, like, you get a movie like Toy Story 3, which was made for kids and adults. Like, the adults who watched that movie were like... I remember being, like, in that theater, I think with Sean, and we were like... However old we were, and we're like, oh my god.
Pixar's very good at
Pixar's
getting, they throw
found the
a
balance.
wide net over the age groups. They're good with that.
A good net too, not like you know. Unfortunately, this felt like Space Jam felt like Ready Player One ish, where they were like, we have access to all these franchises, let's use them.
Oof.
Like,
which I'm a fan of Ready Player One.
Yeah.
But that's not the thing to do.
It's
here.
not for this.
All right. So next on my list, I have Black Panther. Cast Michaela Cole in their movie. Now, you might know her from her HBO show, I Will Destroy You. I've seen, I don't know, I'm getting a lot of blank stares in this studio right now. I've seen a couple episodes of it. It's a devastating, difficult, tragic comedy kind of piece of which is about a woman who's coming to the realizations that she was abused, but she's also a comedian, and it's a difficult piece to watch. She's up for several Emmys though for the show, and that she was just put into Black Panther is very exciting for those of you who are fans of I Will Destroy You, because that's going to be a big thing. Marvel found its Blade director, Basim Tariq.
Say that 3 times fast.
I could not tell you a single thing. Well, no, I could tell you a single thing about Basim Tariq. He's got a film coming out that was already been out for a bit in other countries, but it's coming out here starring, what's his name? Oh, damn it. Someone else talk because my mind just blanked out.
Well, there's a lot of casting news, so while Rob's looking that up, another bit of casting news that literally breaking today. Michael B. Jordan has announced that he is going to be doing a Superman project for HBO Max based on Val-Zod. I am very excited about it because Val-Zod is the Superman of Earth 2. He was modeled after Barack Obama, and he's just a different take on the character. And for me, I'd rather they take characters that are of certain ethnicities and celebrate those characters. Like, there's been multiple different iterations of Superman, Batman. That's the cool thing about having a multiverse. So to have Michael B. Jordan, who I really enjoy, be in it, and not only that, but also playing a version of Superman that I think he would do fantastic with. I'm excited for that.
It's Basim Tariq. His film is called Mogul Mowgli, and it stars Riz Ahmed. Which we all know him from Venom on this show. We know him from, you might know him from Sound of Metal.
Rob, what are your thoughts on Venom really quick?
I posted an essay about that.
I think his article said he loved it.
And you should check the misfitfaction.com for
this movie. Yes, for my review of how Venom is a truly terrible movie. Basim Tariq looks like he's going to bring some great talent to the table with Blade. And a good eye as well. It looks like another person that they pulled from sort of, independent film obscurity. Now, here's something I'd throw at you guys. I wanted to see what you think about this. I was listening to another review of Black Widow on YouTube, and they were talking about how that director probably only, there's a big disparity in Black Widow between the action scenes and the smaller, quieter scenes, because they probably got that director to direct those small, quieter moments, but then they got second unit directors to do all the action.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So, do you think is that a problem? You think in
Yes.
Yeah.
I think in that movie, yes.
Yes.
But I think if you have the right minds, it could work
Because
out.
I'm just thinking about like the Eternals coming out, because Chloe Zhao is not an action director. And I'm wondering, she probably did a lot of the smaller moments. So I'm curious to see how to see how well the movie comes together as a whole between those action and quieter moments.
The problem with Black Widow was the action scenes do not the level of the action scenes do not mix well with the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and that might be two different directors.
And that's the issue. Like Black Widow, I think we said it in both of our reviews for both this podcast and Cinematic Adventures. Black Widow would have benefited more from a much more personal and smaller story.
Yeah.
With smaller action set pieces, very similar to like Captain America: The Winter Soldier has some of the best fight scenes in the MCU, and they're very small.
Yeah,
they're not like big.
Scene.
The elevator scene, him fighting Bucky for the first time on the street.
That's one of my favorite action sequences.
It's great. Like we could have had that, but like they tried to make Black Widow more of a superhero, and at the same time
like
make
a James
fun,
Bond kind of superhero.
like make fun of it too. Yeah. You can't have your cake and eat it too. In that case, you can't be like, I bet Thor doesn't need to take an ibuprofen after this, and then have her parachute out of like a falling.
There was one scene where she fell out of a building and hit something really hard.
Oh my god, it's rough.
Yeah.
Like 20 feet down, and then lands on the ground, and she just gets up and walks it off. And I'm like,
they did
she's dead. She's dead.
Yeah.
They did their Honest trailer. Screen Junkies did an Honest trailer, and I think they counted all the time she should have died.
Oh my god.
It's like 14 or something ridiculous.
Whatever. And then my last bit of news is that Disney Plus has confirmed that Hawkeye and Ms. Marvel will be released in 2021. It is official that they will be coming out. So I have estimated as to when. I sat down the other day and I looked at everything that's on the slate, and I kind of figured out how everything would be released and in what order. So I anticipate those will probably be coming out
towards the end of the year.
Well, What If is going to go towards the middle to end of September. So I'm thinking that Ms. Marvel will be beginning of October, and Hawkeye could be like Thanksgiving-ish.
Yeah.
Well, since Rob only looked at the Marvel side, I'll talk a little DC news. Besides Michael B. Jordan being cast as Val-Zod, or working on his Val-Zod project, we also have the voice cast for the Injustice movies coming out. Now, for those of you guys who don't know Injustice was a video game series. Basically, what happens when Superman goes too far, which is always been a great concept, a great question.
And it was a video game that got turned into a comic,
which is supposedly fantastic.
I've read it. Yeah. It is fantastic. I was shocked because it was, I thought it would be derivative of a video game. I'm like, whatever. It was really engrossing. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah, I've heard very good things about it.
I will say DC has the better comics.
Oh, DC, I definitely agree. And the thing about it, right now we're in this renaissance of superheroes going too far, like with The Boys, Invincible's another one where what happens when these superheroes, like, nobody holds them accountable. Even Marvel's been playing around with it, but less so. I mean, I'm sure we'll see with the ramifications of Loki and WandaVision. But so the Injustice movie it's going to be an animated movie, or animated movie. Yeah, we have former Smallville star Justin Hartley. If you guys watch This Is Us, he's in that. He was Green Arrow on Smallville for years and really did a good job. We have Anson Mount from Star Trek New Worlds and The Inhumans. He's going to voice Batman. And Laura Bailey is going to play Lois Lane and another character named Ramakrishna. A couple of other lesser names. We have Edwin Hodge playing Mr. Terrific and Killer Croc. Derek Phillips will play Nightwing and Aquaman. Kevin Pollak is voicing the Joker and Jonathan Kent. Reed Scott is Green Arrow Victor Zsasz. And Zach Callison as Damian Wayne and Jimmy Olsen. Stacked cast. Really good. And then the last bit of casting news, we have Leslie Grace officially cast as Barbara Gordon in the new Batgirl movie. I am super excited for Batgirl. I did not see In the Heights yet, but I heard she was fantastic in it. I'm excited. We have a lot of different iterations of Barbara Gordon coming to the big screen, and she's a character that really grew into her own after The Killing Joke, so I'm psyched.
And hopefully, and I will make a prediction for news that at some point next week, we are going to see the release of a Spider-Man trailer. I have nothing to justify this other than I think it had to come out after the last episode of Loki. And I thought it was going to come out this week, but then I didn't realize that Comic-Con is happening this week. Mm-hmm. And Marvel and DC have now stayed far away from Comic-Con because they do their own thing. They've got the D23 for Marvel. And what's the DC one
Superhero Dome?
The Hero Dome. So they've got their own thing. But I'm thinking once Comic-Con is over this week, I think we're going to see a Spider-Man trailer next week.
Yeah. Jason Momoa has also been spotted on. He just started filming Aquaman. The Rock just wrapped up on Black Adam. So we're gonna see a fair amount of Marvel and DC, which after such a dry spell, we'll basically take anything. Yep. But today,
except Wonder Woman 1984.
Except Wonder Woman 1984. I will still say there are parts of that movie that are really good.
Yeah, like when it was over.
Yeah, like when it was over. No, I still love when she gets her powers back and she flies for the first time. I know it doesn't make any sense continuity-wise, but it's just such a great scene for me. But so that's going to wrap us up on news and our intro. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to basically listen to Rob's essay about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Phase 4 and forward. But first, a quick break. Today's episode is brought to you by Raise Energy Drinks from Rep Sports. Whether you're trying to crush your afternoon workout or just need a little extra pick-me-up, Raise Energy is just the boost that you're going to need. So if you go to repsports.com and any product that you order, enter the code MISFIT89 at checkout to receive 15% off. Anything that you guys buy from that store helps our network grow, and we fully appreciate everything you guys do. That's MISFIT89 at checkout, repsports.com. All right, we are back, and we are here to talk about Marvel Phase 4 and Beyond. And What If, and Far From Home, and No Way Home, and Miss Marvel, and Marvels, and Blade, and
all the above.
And Swiss Army Knife. I don't know. We'll see where it goes, because basically I came with no research whatsoever, besides trusty Wikipedia. Ronnie has a little bit of a haiku, it looks like, over there, and Rob prepared a thesis to graduate from college with. So,
Again.
What are you saying?
Nerd alert! I knew what kind of episode this was going to be when at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night, I get a text message in our group chat with Rob going, I created this document that kind of gives an idea of what we should do on Friday.
And were you surprised that it had something to do with Marvel?
If it was about DC, I would have written it in crayon.
He wouldn't have even written anything.
I would have a lot to say if it was about DC.
I like how whenever we talk about DC, Rob always says, these are the ways I would fix DC. It's never these are the things I like about DC.
I actually have things on this list of how to fix Marvel stuff.
Not just make Iron Man variations? This one's Tiny Iron Man, and this one's Magic Iron Man, and this is Space Iron Man.
Iron Man's not my favorite.
And Giant Iron Man.
And Giant Iron Man. Tiny Iron Man goes both ways.
Dassa?
No, okay. So, Rob, kick us off. Where are we starting this journey tonight?
Oh, I'm supposed to contribute?
Yes.
Oh. All right. So
just read the notes that I wrote for you.
Here's what I did. What I had to figure out first is, what do I know for sure? Like,
nothing.
what are the things that I know aren't going to happen in this next phase positively? So what I did was I went and I found all of the release dates for the films, the order in which they're being released, and then I found all of the television shows, and there's a lot of them. And I was able to map it out all the way through like July of 2023, so about 2 years. And it starts off with the What If series, because the What If series, Marvel has already announced that it is going to be canon and it is going to affect things that happen in the Marvel universe, which that makes sense considering that we now have multiple timelines. Yes. So we've got just to run through the list really quick. And also, like, the television shows, they didn't give dates, but it said, around this time period. So what I figured was that we're probably going, for the next 2 years, going to ping pong between film, television, and back and forth and back and forth. So for this year, we're going to start off with What If, then it goes to Shang-Chi, then Ms. Marvel, then the Eternals, and then Hawkeye, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. So I think some of these will depend upon one another, some of them won't. So here are the things I know for sure, having watched WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So well, let me ask you guys, what do we know for sure from those that is definitely going to be happening?
That Mephisto was not the bad guy.
Okay, Mephisto is not in there.
I've never seen more speculation.
Yeah, that one
Mephisto
was
being a bad guy.
It was the first show. We didn't know.
No, they were still talking about it by the time Loki rolled around.
I know.
Things that we know for sure. We know that Shang-Chi is going to be taking place. It seems to be after the blip and everybody's come back. What If we know for sure is based on the Watchers watching aspects of the universe. So I think it's safe to say that What If is a direct result of Loki and the way that season 1
Makes
ended.
Sense.
I'm not sure what they're going to do with Ms. Marvel, because in continuity, Ms. Marvel is an Inhuman. And they kind of removed Inhumans and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from their continuity.
Thank God.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. not so much, because they did do some good stuff with it. Inhumans is just horrific.
It is really bad.
Like
I watched all the episodes. It is dreadful.
It is rough to watch. Internals, I think, is going to be...
The Internals?
Eternals, excuse me. Internally...
Same difference.
Yeah. Eternals.
That's a movie that needs to be made.
Yeah. It's funny because
There is.
in the trailer, they specifically
Inside
say... We've watched until now. And it's only after Loki's come out that we kind of can start to piece together that the reason the Eternals are taking action is because of the disastrous effects of Loki season 1.
Okay.
And then Spider-Man, all right, Hawkeye's going to be watching Black Widow. We kind of have an idea of where Hawkeye's going to start off with, or at least be kind of going.
Okay.
And then Spider-Man No Way Home.
Nothing.
There's
We
nothing
know
but
nothing.
We know one thing. How did Spider-Man Far From Home end?
with his identity getting
Okay.
revealed.
Yeah.
So we know that Peter Parker is outed, and that we're going to deal with the fallout of that. What do we know from WandaVision?
That now Wanda is almost as powerful, if not more powerful, than the Sorcerer Supreme.
Because
and she
of
is,
what?
Because of the the Darkhold.
Very good. Okay, so we know that Wanda is studying the Darkhold.
She's also hearing the voices of her children because
Yes.
supposedly Loki season 1 ends when WandaVision ends. So they're
Makes
very
sense.
similar. So the running theory is that the reason she can hear her kids is that now there's a timeline where they exist.
Oh, okay. All right, so what do we know about Vision?
He's white.
Right, we have a white Vision,
We have a white Vision.
that
Yeah.
exists. Now, we don't know if that might play no part. We have
Well,
no idea.
philosophically, he is now just Vision because
Yeah,
the
right.
boat thing, where Vision hits him with the existential question about the
Oh,
boat,
yeah.
and he's like, "Well, then I have to be Vision because I am made from Vision, and
Right.
so therefore I am Vision."
Yeah.
And then he gives him all the Vision memories.
So we have two Visions, right?
No,
No,
I forgot what happened.
The other
with
Vision went bye-bye.
when Wanda put everything back
Okay.
to normal.
Yes.
So we have a white Vision. All right, so what do we know from Captain and the Winter Soldier and
You got this, man. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
What-
We know that they are making a Captain America 4 movie.
Okay.
Yep.
So which means that Sam is
Captain
America.
Okay.
We have U.S. agent.
We have a U.S. agent,
Yep.
John Walker,
And we have Bucky taking on still the mantle of the Winter Soldier, but
Okay.
just making it his own.
and we also know that Valentina Allegra de Fontaine
Yes.
is
Let's just say Madam Hydra.
Madam
Madam
Hydra.
Hydra.
She is putting together some sort of a team.
Yep.
And we know John Walker, and we know that Yelena are going to
Yelena.
be on that team.
Yes.
Well, Yelena's apparently already on the team because,
Okay.
they make it seem like they have some sort of working
Yeah.
relationship.
Okay. We know that. Oh, we also from Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't know how big a role this is going to play. Sharon Carter is the power broker. Past all of that, we know that multiple Kangs are coming.
We also know that Spider-Man No Way Home has cast former Spider-Man villains.
Yes.
There's rampant speculation about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield making some sort of appearance, or whether it's
There
cameo.
are strong rumors, and almost the rumors are almost always true, but we don't want to
There's
assume.
also strong
Yes.
rumors of. I know we're kind of getting into rumor territory, but with Charlie Cox reprising his role
That'd be awesome.
as Matt Murdock.
And we also know that Loki season 2 is happening at some point.
Yes.
Now, I don't have this on this list because I don't know when it's going to happen, which means that the TVA's influence is still on the table.
Well, the TVA is still in effect.
Yes.
So they could play a factor in the Multiverse of Madness, which we're going to get into when we get to 2022.
Yes.
Wait, I got it.
So I think we're still
March 25th, 2022.
because we're still this year, right?
Yes.
Correct. So they could incorporate them into the Multiverse of Madness, whether or not Doctor Strange is even aware of them, because they seem to be more of a technology base. Because Kang is going to return for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yes.
And there are rumors that the TVA actually is in the quantum realm. That's where it's located.
Yeah.
That's more speculation. That's not been confirmed
And so, as far as I could figure out, that is all that we know for sure with Phase 4.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even for next year, then it gets very sketchy. Like, here's the 2022 films: Moon Knight, the television show, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Which the only thing I think we know from that is it's been rumored that Wanda's going to be
Wanda
in that.
will
Wanda
be.
will
No,
be
it's
in-
been confirmed.
Oh, it's been confirmed. Okay.
She will be, yeah.
There's rumors that Loki's going to be in it.
Okay.
That the variant Loki,
We have She-Hulk after that, I think.
which they're just doing some casting. They
Yeah.
have not
Yeah.
really made a lot of headway.
I know Tatiana Maslany is
Yes.
in that, and I cannot wait because I love her.
Yeah.
Thor: Love and Thunder, which the only thing we know about that is that Thor is in shape. There's a female Thor with Natalie Portman.
Yep.
So we also know that Mjolnir's going to come back.
Okay.
Yep.
Whether it's current continuity Mjolnir, like they make a new one, or
Right.
alternate universes
Alternate-
now.
Yep.
It could even be Natalie. It could be a Thor from
He's
another.
got that other
He's got
Stormbreaker.
windbreaker or whatever it is.
No, that's a jacket.
Yeah.
Stormbreaker
okay.
you're talking about.
Breaking
But-
Wind.
Yeah. This could be Natalie Portman could actually be playing a Thor from a different timeline.
That's
A
true,
different-
yeah.
Like we have to be.
So we don't know. And we know that from what Taika Waititi said, that it's going to be crazy.
Yes.
Then we've got Black Panther: Wakanda Forever,
which
where
we know little to nothing.
We know,
Yeah.
I think, two people, like the one I just mentioned, what's her name, Michaela Cole, and there's another.
M'Baku's coming back.
M'Baku, and that's about it that we know.
Yeah.
Then we've got Secret Invasion, which we know nothing other than what we've read in the comics. But
I'm
that doesn't tell
I'm
anything.
still on the fence about Secret Invasion, just because they went so far with Captain Marvel to
Yeah.
get away from the Skrulls
Yeah.
being the bad guys.
Then after that, we have the Marvels. So Secret. Now, I wasn't sure when Secret Invasion. There's a gap between, because Black Panther: Wakanda Forever comes out on July 8th, and then the Marvels comes out November 11th. So I figured Secret Invasion probably comes out in the middle of that.
Yeah.
The Marvels, we know there's a Kid Marvel. I think.
Miss Marvel. Yeah.
Well, no. I think there's another Kid.
I know
Marvel.
Photon's going to be in it
Okay.
from Maria Rambeau.
Oh no! Now I was just reading something the other day that said she might not.
I-
They're not sure now.
I would not be. I'd be
Yeah, I'd be
very
surprised.
surprised if they did. I mean, this is worth a quick Google while you guys talk.
Worth a Google.
Worth the Googles.
Miss Marvel and then the Marvels.
Yeah, and then like after that, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which I cannot wait.
Before that, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
No, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is February 17th, 2023.
Yeah, and then Guardians of the... Oh, sorry, I was looking at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then we've got holiday special. Then after that is 2023, and I'll just go through this really quick. We have Ironheart, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Armor Wars, the television show, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, an untitled Wakanda series for television, and the Fantastic Four, possibly. There's also Blade possibly in there. We don't know. So,
Yeah.
and I think we can all agree that with those films, we know nothing except with Ant-Man and the Wasp, we know that Jonathan Majors is in there as
Yes.
Kang the Conqueror.
For the Marvels, it's confirmed Brie Larson as Carol Danvers,
Right.
Teyonah Parris as Monica Rambeau,
Okay.
and Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan / Miss Marvel.
Oh, that's Miss Marvel, yeah.
Yes.
So my point being is that we know very little of
anything.
these movies in 2022 and 2023. We know, from the 3 television shows, and we know, even like Black Widow didn't really give us anything other than Yelena being recruited by Madam Hydra.
Did you mention Fantastic Four?
Yes,
I
he did at the end.
mentioned that
Okay.
it's possibly coming out, like that. There's whether or not they cast Jeff Bezos in that or not, I don't know. But or Emily Blunt, whatever. So what do we know? That's about it.
Yeah, we don't know too much. That's the problem. So a lot of it is just all speculation.
Yeah.
What do we think? Fans think is going to happen in the future.
Right. And we know there's a really broken timeline.
So,
Yes.
Speaking of which, now this just came out this week. I don't know if you guys saw this, but apparently one of the characters in Black Widow one of the actors was playing the first mutant in the MCU. Yeah. So one of the characters played Ursa Major, who is he was a mutant in the comics. He's able to turn into... Yes.
Actually, well, that's not the first mutant because they didn't call her a mutant because technically Quicksilver's the first mutant.
Not in this continuity, no.
Okay.
Quicksilver and Wanda were both enhanced. But so supposedly he's one of the guys who there's a throwaway line spoken by David Harbour about it in the 1 hour mark where apparently this guy plays Ursa Major, who is a mutant so we have that to contend with too. When are they going to introduce mutants, and when are they going to start with the X-Men? So we got a lot of stuff on the
there's
plates.
a lot of unknowns. And there's to quote a quote from the government, there are known unknowns and there are unknown unknowns.
Aliens.
So now Kevin Feige this week came out and he said that the multiverse rules are explicit.
Yes.
He has talked to his writers and he said these are the rules you are to stick by when you're writing your films and making them. Now we don't know what they are yet, but so my next section now is what do I expect from this phase?
Yes.
And I expect that we will see what these rules are at some point. And we'll probably see them in the same way that we saw the time travel rules in Endgame. You remember when they went through oh no, it's not, it's like Back to the Future 2 and everything. So I think we might get an explanation like that.
What movie do you think we'll get that in? Probably Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it would have to be.
I mean, really, there's no other movies that are going to be dealing with it.
No.
Like no other
Possibly well, no.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, well, Doctor Strange is supposedly going to be in it.
Yeah.
So if we don't see it in Spider-Man, we'll definitely see it in Doctor Strange.
So for me, with the multiverse, I don't need to see giant leaps all at once. Like I don't need to see, like Spider-Verse was good at gradually introducing Spider-Men or Spider-People. I want to see a little bit like that. Like as cool as it was to see all the things branching at the end of Loki, like we don't need to don't throw it all at once. Like just
Well, that's actually one of my expectations in here is that I feel like we're going to have an Empire Strikes Back structure where you've got this storyline going on over here and this storyline going on over here, and they don't really cross very much. That you've got multiple groups and pairings going off and doing their own thing, like an Asgardians of the Galaxy kind of thing, and them doing their own thing, and it doesn't have anything to do with like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw multiple timelines that don't cross each other.
I'm fine with, but the thing that really upsets me about looking at this list is we have no Avengers. Like, I miss having the Avengers. Like they talked about it in the last Spider-Man movie. Like, what happened to the Avengers? Are they still a thing? Do they still exist?
Yeah.
But you've got this new Captain America. Like this is the time. Make Captain America 4 be about him reforming the Avengers.
So this was my thought, right? So obviously we got introduced to Kang, right? So my thing is he's going to end up being the big bad in Phase 4.
Because Phase 4 starts not with a whimper, but with a Kang.
Yeah.
Trademark that. That's our title.
But so obviously he's been introduced, right? He's got connections to Hawkeye, Fantastic Four, Vision, Thor, basically everyone that has their own movie coming up in Phase 4. Even Spider-Man, right? So I feel like he's going to be the new Thanos, quote unquote, for Phase 4, maybe even further on, because again, we don't get him until one of the last things in Phase 4.
Well, we won't get Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror, yes. So that's what I'm saying. So I think we'll see we might see some Kangs and Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, different things like that, but we won't get Kang the Conqueror until...
And not all Kangs are bad.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. I watched a video this week on YouTube that went through the Kang history, and it was 25 minutes long, and my head exploded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is
very convoluted.
so hard to grasp.
Yeah. So I think with him being the big bad, we will then end up getting our new Avengers. You know, where you'll have all these characters from Phase 4, maybe introduce, kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but introduce some new characters. Adam Warlock, possibly.
Well, Adam
Warlock,
Warlock
because we've
is gonna
seen
be
him before
in Guardians.
In Guardians.
Guardians 2.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we get someone like him involved later on. Maybe even during Guardians 3,
I
Volume
also
3,
find it
possibly.
very surprising that we don't have our Deadpool movie in any slots.
Yeah.
Because they confirmed they're making one.
Yeah.
Right. I think it might be like its own, like, the Deadpool universe.
Yeah.
Like their timeline.
I don't think that, I just don't know what they want to do with that. But
Yeah.
this is all
Well,
kind of
that's funny,
turning
'cause
into.
that's something I wanted to talk about later.
Ronnie.
Well, for me, this
when
is
we get to that section, though.
all of this is kind of turning into, for me anyway, it's looking like Crisis on Infinite Earths and Flashpoint. It's looking like they're going to have some sort of nice reset.
Yeah.
And we're going to see characters like Venom get incorporated into the MCU. You know, obviously they're moving with Blade and all the Netflix characters and all that stuff. So I can see all of this is leading to some sort of creation of Earth Prime, like the main Earth. Like Arrow or Flash, they just addressed it, that they were like, there's still a multiverse? What?
Yeah.
But this is still Prime Earth. Like, that's what
right.
Crisis did. It created one Prime, because obviously the TVA is still in effect, and we did see a statue of Kang who's running it, but we don't know if it was Kang the Conqueror, if it was, Kang's gone by a lot of names. He's gone by Ramatud, Immortus, Iron Lad.
There's a Council of Kangs.
Yes, Council of Kangs. So that's where you get into, like, the Ancient One warned the Hulk about all this in Endgame. She was like, you change one thing, and suddenly these splinter off from the Prime timeline. Like, that's how far back they were planning this, which is incredible.
See, and this is why I want to pull on Ronnie's idea. I don't think we're going to see Kang as a big bad the way we saw Thanos as a big bad. I think the broken timeline is going to be the big bad. And that's the main obstacle to overcome. I think Kang will pop in and out in different places and will be big problems at times, but I feel like the main issue is going to be resolving this timeline.
Well, I don't know, because I feel like with the timeline, that could be an easy fix, to be honest with you.
Maybe you should get your own movie then.
Yeah, right?
If it's an easy fix.
With who you have out there, yes. Mm-hmm. With Doctor Strange, with Wanda out there, you have, Ant-Man and the Wasp being able to go to the quantum realm and all this kind of stuff. It's possible because now we're introduced to magic and multiverse and everything. I think the timeline could be an easy fix. I think it's going to end up coming down to possibly even the new Avengers trying to fix the timelines, and then that's when Kang comes in.
Okay.
Kang the Conqueror.
I can see that.
And I think that's going to lead into Phase 5. So we might get a little hint of him at the end of Phase 4, and then Phase 5, I think that's where you'll see the Captain America 4 with Sam, and maybe that's when Phase 5 will then turn into kind of like the Avenger phase.
Okay.
See, for me, like, watching the end of Loki, obviously there's, like Ronnie's saying, it's an easy fix. I agree, just because the TVA is still a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
In all honesty, they could always reconnect it. I have a feeling season 2 of Loki is going to end with him taking over.
Who?
Loki
taking over the TVA?
Taking that spot that he was offered at the end of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Sylvie.
Side note, I don't know if you heard this. The writers for Loki came out this week and talked about their season finale. Did you hear anything about this?
No.
Apparently, Kang was not supposed to show up until the final few seconds in episode 6. Yeah, they originally had it where...
I mean, technically.
They originally had it where Miss Minutes took up the majority of the episode. Yeah. And Miss Minutes, it was sort of like a Last Temptation of Christ kind of approach, where she was like, look at all these things you could have. And she showed him, like, she gave him a vision of like restoring Asgard and ruling over it with Mjolnir and everything.
They showed him as king.
Yeah, like, and they brought her, and then there was supposed to be, because if you remember, one of our main complaints about the last episode of Loki was that Loki was kind of sidelined. He just kind of sat there for it. Well, that's because of this, because they intended to have it be all about Loki resisting the throne, which would make sense for the character arc with Miss Minutes. And then he was supposed to have a fight with Sylvie, like a big fight with Sylvie. And then Kang was going to be introduced at the very end. But because they had added time with the pandemic, they decided to shoot these scenes with Jonathan Majors and do all this stuff with Kang. So I'm a little disappointed. Not that we got what we got, but that they cut the things that they did. I really wish we had seen those things with Loki getting tempted and resisting, because that would have brought the character arc full all the way around.
You know what would have been awesome if we had gotten the Spider-Ham version, Kangaroo the Conqueror.
Oh man.
All right. Other things I am expecting. Multiple stories that don't rely on one another. So I expect we're going to have 2, maybe 3 coexisting MCU timelines that don't cross.
Okay.
I can see that. You can have like your Disney Plus timeline.
Yeah, like because I looking at the list,
in the movies,
like how could She-Hulk possibly play a role in all this, or Moon Knight?
Moon Knight to a lesser extent.
Yeah.
It really depends on how they're going to interact with how these worlds, these universes are dealing with each other, right? So they could easily, like in the comics, Moon Knight takes his power from Egyptian gods. He's got like multiple personalities. Like he's a very complicated character. They could easily make it like the universe is trying to cope with all these new universes forming, and like he's like taking parts of different like they've tweaked backstories before. They've done, like, Captain Marvel's a great example. They completely redid Marvel in that. Right. But I don't know, like for She-Hulk, I would actually really like a courtroom drama with She-Hulk. I think that'd be a lot of fun, because I like seeing that stuff in these superhero properties. But also at the end of the day, she can also go out and kick some ass.
Yeah,
like she could fight Kang the Conqueror to a point. But I don't know. Like for some of this stuff, I want the Disney Plus shows to. I hate to say it, I don't want them to be mandatory viewing for me to enjoy the movies.
I know, and I think we're there.
We are there, unfortunately. Like, I would not... If I didn't watch any of these Marvel shows, I would not know what's going on in the Marvel movies. And I think that's... It's potentially a downfall of Marvel, because a lot of people have Disney Plus, but not everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the challenge to Marvel, of trying to make these movies kind of standalone-ish. Because I think we can all agree that Black Widow is a standalone movie.
And it's the first one in a long time.
You don't have to have seen any other Marvel stuff in order to watch Black Widow.
I would argue maybe just Avengers.
Yeah.
But for me, I think Marvel's gone too far down their rabbit hole at this point, and they are way too far. Like, we go into those. One of the reasons we didn't like Black Widow as much is because the references to the rest of the universe were few and far between.
Yeah.
We love that stuff.
Because that's the thing, like, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I know.
So, they have their little niche where they got it down.
But I think they're
everything's together. This is where I would love for them to get all those Netflix shows into
it's their opportunity.
The continuity.
Yeah.
Just have obviously there's no more of those shows aren't making anything anymore,
minus
right?
Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Or at least have somebody new.
Well, no,
just go, who's that? It's Iron Fist. Oh yeah.
They did it with War Machine.
Yeah. I mean, because if you think about it, I mean, you have Daredevil, you have Luke Cage. They've all
Jessica
interacted
Jones.
with Spider-Man.
In the comics.
In the comic. Well, yes. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
like
from
you
the
can
same area.
introduce them into
Queens.
the MCU just based off of that.
I would love a Spider-Man Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
Where he does just interact with these heroes, like these street level heroes,
Yeah,
like each
that'd be
episode, kind of like
awesome.
a Batman Brave and the Bold type story.
I love
Yeah.
Batman Brave and the Bold.
You know,
That'd be a lot of fun.
I think that's one of the things that they should do. The MCU should definitely get those guys involved some way or another, and then you can go ahead and then introduce. Because I know Luke Cage is getting a whole new series, comic book series.
Yeah.
Really?
They just reintroduced him.
You know, so it's like perfect timing. Boom, you get that. You get the hype of that and everything. You know, I think it would be a missed opportunity if they did not introduce some of those characters.
You know, it'd be really cool if they do, when they announce their Avengers movie. I feel like if they're going to announce a new Avengers movie, it's going to be after Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Okay. It'll be like one of those Doctor Strange will return in, and then they'll say the name of the movie, like they did for like Thanos will return in. You know, so I would love it if they maybe like Avengers Multiverse War or something like that, like something like where they could justify. Imagine the Endgame scene where all the portals open and it's like all the heroes and then mostly just faceless CGI armies. Imagine if it was all these different heroes from different universes all united to defeat like a character, even if it's like a character like Kang. And yeah, it's a little redundant after seeing it, but to see Sam Wilson yell out Avengers Assemble for all these like random heroes. You can bring back old characters, you can bring back anyone just for this one scene for them to fix the multiverse and make it into one cohesive universe.
And to go with that, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Weren't all of the Defenders Avengers? At some point,
the thing about comic book teams, everybody's been on teams at certain points.
Yeah.
Spider-Man tried to get on the Fantastic Four because he thought they got paid.
Yeah.
Like that's like original comic books, like from the early days of Spider-Man. Spider-Man's been on the Avengers. Luke Cage has been on the Avengers. Like, there's a lot of rotating doors. West Coast Avengers. You know, the same thing happens in DC with Justice League International, Teen Titans. You know, like that's like not a new thing. The only some of them are a little inclusive. Like the X-Men are very like you have to be a mutant. Spider-Man's just sitting out there going, "Oh, you guys live in a mansion." But
isn't he a mutant?
Technicalities. He's enhanced. But so I have no problem with them. I think it would be a smart move. It's just unfortunately a lot of these actors have moved on to different projects. You know, it's not like Matt Ryan and Constantine where they got him as soon as
back up a truckload of money to
right.
You know,
Tony Stark's house and he'll come out.
Kevin Feige did say he's not doing any long-term contracts anymore.
Yes.
So that might be as part of this whole.
Well, and if you think back to Iron Man, we didn't know how much we wanted Iron Man until we got Iron Man, and then we were like, oh my God, Robert Downey Jr. is the best, and Chris Evans. Chris Evans was like, floundering in like, Fantastic Four movies and in The Losers. He wasn't.
I like those movies.
Oh, they're likable,
yes,
but they're not the hot commodity that these are. So we didn't know we wanted that. So
the MCU definitely made people's careers.
Having said that, what I also expect is the Young Avengers are going to assemble.
Yeah, they've been planting the seeds big time for that.
And I think it's going to happen somewhere around Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
And here's why. Because here are the in the comics, here are the members of the Young Avengers. You've got Iron Lad. You have Kate Bishop, who's Hawkeye's kid.
And Iron Lad is a version of Kang.
Yes.
Okay. You have Hawkeye's daughter, Kate Bishop. You have Hulkling. Now, I'm not saying these are all going to be on the Young Avengers. I'm just saying who's in the comics. You have Kid Loki, which we already have.
Yep.
Miss America, who I don't know.
We get every year.
She's like,
I don't know. We have No Var, which is Marvel Boy, which is why I'm saying it's coming when it's coming, because that will be right before the Marvels.
Yep.
Patriot.
Who is Isaiah Bradley's.
Yep. Nephew.
We have, which
grandson.
we've already met him, right?
Yes.
In Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Prodigy, who could be the first real X-Men in, that would be a nice, easy way to ease the X-Men into it. You have Speed, which we already have.
And Wiccan.
and Wiccan, I have on here. Yep. We have Stature, which is Cassie Lang.
Who they just recast.
Yep. And Vision. Vision is a part of the Young Avengers.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah, I know.
He's 4.
So
I was born yesterday.
this that I can easily see the Young Avengers assembling and taking over the mantle of having those Avengers assemble the way we saw it previously.
I'd rather they have these characters who I really want Sam Wilson to take over as the head of the Avengers. He deserves it at this point.
I think we will see that. I think though that we're going to see a few groups. I think we're going to see the Young Avengers, we're going to see Sam Wilson's Avengers, and we're going to see the Dark Avengers, which is, what Madam Hydra seems to be putting together.
I would love for them to do a new Civil War with Avengers versus Dark Avengers.
I think we're going to see these warring superhero factions in addition to these multiverse people.
Yeah.
So
it all depends on how long they want to go with this multiverse arc, because that's kind of where they're heading.
It's going for a long time.
There's a wealth of material for it. I just don't want it to be the only focus.
I mean, if Kang the Conqueror isn't coming until 2023 in February, I think we're in this for the long haul.
Yeah. And I'm glad they're kind of also leaning towards the more magical side of the Marvel universe. It took a long time to get there. It's still not my favorite interpretation of magic. I love spellcasting. Like Agatha Harkness was a big improvement.
Yeah.
Where she literally said, she's like, you have this natural magical ability. I had to work and learn these spells and do this, and like there's just something so cool about characters reciting spells. Constantine does it. Zatanna does all of her spells backwards, which has always been a fun thing. So I really enjoy that they're getting away from the practical techie stuff. And moving to that magical territory.
I think we're going to see an influx of the magic. Because remember, what's the only way right now to travel between dimensions?
Magic.
The sling rings.
I will also argue using the quantum realm.
I'm getting there.
Yes.
I'm getting there. Right now, the only thing we have is the sling rings. There have been hints with the quantum realm. Now, in the comics, Reed Richards is the one that plays the important part in terms of restoring the multiverse. He designs the very first machine that can travel between realities. So and to see that Fantastic Four is sort of one of the final films in Phase 4 makes sense then, because I think we're going to see magic for a while, especially with the Darkhold and Wanda, and then I think we're going to see a return, or at least a balancing out with science and magic in terms of restoring the multiverse. And I think Reed Richards is going to be heavily involved with that.
Which I'm all about. I would also rather that they just introduce the Fantastic Four being an established team. They have their powers. We don't need to do the origin story.
I hope you're right.
Yes. They did it in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever... It's on Disney+. It's a great show. But again, another show where they gradually introduce... And like they just introduced the Fantastic Four. Like they have powers. They're this. They did the same thing to Spider-Man.
We've seen it a couple times with Fantastic.
And it's only gotten worse. Like this is Reed Richards. He's a genius. Like, and he's here to help. He's got powers. It's a long story. We'll get to it.
This is Jessica Alba.
There have been a few references to Reed Richards, haven't there, in Marvel? There was one...
In the MCU?
Yeah, somebody mentioned
Everybody thought that it was going to be Reed Richards
in WandaVision.
Oh, because he said, I've got a friend who works in...
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Jimmy Choo said that.
And it turned out to be no one.
Yeah, and then there was rumors that they bought the Avengers Tower, that it was going to be the Baxter Building, but supposedly that it might also be Oscorp. So there's a lot of different...
I've only got 2 more things in terms of what I expect, and then I've got a wish list. I expect Ravonna Renslayer is going to be coming back, and I believe she will be playing some sort of romantic partner with a Kang.
Okay.
Because
there's precedent in the comics.
There is. Yep. I don't know which Kang. I don't know where she's
well, also,
come in.
So here's my thing
that might
about
be
that.
Season 2 of Loki. I don't know.
So when Loki gets sent back to the TVA, he's obviously in an altered timeline.
Right.
So it's more the Back to the Future rules. Like if you go back in time, you're in this timeline. So Ramona...
Which by the way, I was rewatching Back to the Future 2 this week.
It's still the best.
It's still so great.
It's still so great.
It's not as good as the first Back to the Future. Don't get me wrong.
It's still,
but it is.
It establishes the rules of time travel.
It's so great.
But
that no one adheres by.
Ramona. Ravonna. She left the TVA before any changes
Ramona's
were made.
only in the 4th grade.
Yeah. But Ravonna left the TVA before any changes took place. So she may be aware of how the TVA was. I could see her being a reluctant ally to Loki.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And with variants, there can always be more than one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then my last thing, and then I'll ask you guys if you have anything else. I expect the Grandmaster to be creating some sort of interdimensional contest Olympics or something like that.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Like I Taika Waititi saying that Thor: Love and Thunder is nuts. I can see Grandmaster playing a major role in just how nuts it is, with him inviting all of these multi-dimensional people to battle it out.
It'd be a lot of fun, actually. Yeah. You can get your beta ray bills.
Yeah.
We already saw in Shang-Chi trailer, we saw
Abomination versus Wong.
Yeah. So I think we're headed in that direction.
I'm psyched.
How about you guys? Any other expectations?
They're going to introduce Doctor Doom in Black Panther.
Why then?
Now, is that a wish list, or is that something like
that's
you
what
like
I'm speculating. That is my speculation. That's my theory. That it would be the perfect time to introduce a warring nation with a dictator. It depends on how they want to. It depends on what they do with Black Panther and T'Challa. They're keeping it very hush hush.
Oh yeah.
I know they're still working on it. That's why they gave themselves plenty of breathing room. But I would love to see a Doctor Doom trying to invade Wakanda story.
That's cool.
That'd be really cool. And it's a great way to introduce the character as Doctor Doom. We have not gotten Doctor Doom. Yeah. Yeah. And with all this new magic and science stuff, he'd be the perfect character to blend the two worlds, because that's what he does. He does magic, he does science. I'd love it.
Yeah.
Ronnie?
I think I said before, right? Just get the Netflix to be part of the MCU, and I think keeping the smart thing for them to do is keep the Disney Plus and the MCU tied together. I think if they branch away from that, it's just not going to work. Like that's the thing that I wish the DCEU did, was take the Arrowverse stuff and incorporate that.
Well, they
kind of did.
Yeah. There's more. I would argue that there was more of a connection with the Arrowverse stuff just from the Flash cameoing on it than there ever was with the Marvel Netflix stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool seeing. Was it Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Yeah,
like that was really cool seeing it. I geeked out at that.
And we're definitely going to see it again in Flashpoint.
Yeah, once Flashpoint comes out, I think we might see some good crossover. I just we were talking before the show about this, and I just feel like DC did so much better when they were into individual franchises rather than doing sort of an extended universe. Like, you've got Wonder Woman, stick with it. It's a Wonder Woman franchise, a Shazam franchise, a Batman franchise. They don't need to cross over and talk to one another.
Yes, they do.
I feel
Justice League is so much better than the Avengers.
Oh, good Lord.
Well,
not the movie. I'm saying,
I know, the potential there,
yeah.
Well, what I find ironic is both franchises, Marvel and DC, are both heading towards what looks like to be some sort of multiversal convergence for both of them. You got Flash heading towards Flashpoint, where they've got Keaton and they've got Ben Affleck and like all these different things, and you've got Marvel, but DC,
as long as they get George Clooney.
Imagine DC's heading towards it to reboot, whereas Marvel's heading that way to add new things.
Yes, that's fair.
They're both
that's accurate. I think.
Which sucks too, because no matter what side of the fence you're on, whether you're a Marvel or DC fan, you're both going to look at the other going, well, they're just copying.
I know.
Like, obviously, DC's been talking about it for a while, and now Marvel's really kind of leaning into it also. I think similar roads, just different destinations.
And in the comics, both Marvel and DC have been known to do some sort of event that just wipes the slate clean.
DC way more than Marvel.
Yeah, DC's done it a few.
Because
New
DC's
52
also
and
New 52, Rebirth, Crisis on Infinite Earths, like the bigger names, Flashpoint, like all those really.
When you've got all that many comic book writers working independently of one another, eventually there's going to happen some convoluted experiences and situations.
Well, I mean, look at Superman alone. He got so powerful they had to make up powers for him.
So you got to wipe the slate clean at some point and just go, okay, now we're starting
80
over.
Years 80 years of material. Yeah. And then, of course, like for Superman, they'll be like, well, here's Earth 2 Superman, and he was like, this was the Golden Age Superman. Like, they do fun stuff like that, and they can do fun stuff like that. We want fun stuff like that.
So what do we wish for? What's our now? That's what I expect.
Mm-hmm.
What are our wishes?
Well, Ronnie made his wishes known about the
Netflix
stuff.
That was a wish list,
All
but
right.
I also feel like
It's gonna happen.
it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
I feel like in Superman. Oh my God, Spider-Man. Sorry, I got the poster right in front of me that says Superman.
Superman and Spider-Man fought, and Superman won. Just letting you know.
Of course
Well,
he
that's
would win.
obvious.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, Spider-Man's not smart enough to know they get kryptonite.
Spider-Man also beat up a kid.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Spider-Man did put up a good fight because he was helped by Lex Luthor and Dr. Octopus. Anyway, Ronnie, go ahead.
But no, because going back to
Spider-Man's
me
like
thinking
17.
that Netflix shows will be a part of it, I think we will get mentions of at least Daredevil in Spider-Man. Somehow, some way, like in the background or something like that.
I will build on that. And one of the things I wish for, I don't think this is going to happen, but oh God, I would geek out if it happened, is folded into the Young Avengers, the characters from Runaways and Cloak and Dagger.
That'd be a big
Have you guys watched either one?
I watched Cloak and Dagger. I did not watch Runaways.
I watched first season of both of those, and I have to see the second seasons of both of those. Mm-hmm. And they actually cross over at some point, too.
Yes.
I loved those characters, and I thought that the storylines were so strong. I would love to see those people get folded in.
Oh, that'd be great. I would love to see folding in of not only those characters, but also seeing them interact with some of these bigger heroes.
Yeah.
I want to see Venom in the MCU, however they want to do it. There's still always rumors. We didn't even talk about Morbius, which, for all we know, is part of the MCU.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be neat to see Morbius work its way into Blade?
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. I mean, vampires do exist. We heard from Mobius, the other day.
And also, Michael Keaton is in Morbius. We saw him in the trailer.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether or not he's Adrian Toomes is up for debate.
Mm-hmm.
But,
well, that's actually one of the things I have on my wish list here is that Sony works out a deal with Marvel for more Spider-Man appearances and more Spider-Man characters in there. I wish they would all just play nicely.
Huh, that's funny. Because that's kind of something similar I have.
All right.
Over here where Marvel can get the rights to do a Hulk movie.
Oh, like a Planet Hulk?
Anything.
Oh.
Anything. Just get the rights from Universal to be able to get Hulk more involved, because I think he's one of the best characters that Marvel has to offer, yet they can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But now that we're having She-Hulk, involved in the
If you didn't already know
the
about
MCU,
this,
quote, unquote.
one of the reasons we haven't had a Hulk movie in the Marvel Universe is because Universal owns them.
Yes. So very similar deal to Spider-Man, where they get to use him, and I think Universal gets paid for it at some point. But
so that would be a wish list where they buy him from Universal, and they're able to actually make a good movie, a good Hulk movie. Whether it's Planet Hulk, doing something similar to kind of what you did with a Black Widow, like, what is he doing, like his time
on
Sakaar and different things like that, like what was he doing? Like,
I called you the stupidest Avenger.
Yeah, like I would love to see like his fights again. I mean, you see on the
tower,
the tower, like all those different
previous champions
and everything. I mean, obviously he didn't beat all of them because he could only beat the champion before him.
Oh, okay.
But like right?
I had to do that logic in my head.
That's like the question, right? You're in third place. You passed the runner in second place. What place are you in?
First place.
Third place.
Second.
I panicked.
You passed the runner in second, so you're in second.
Yeah, so you're the second person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So that's
really convoluted way to explain it.
But I'm just saying. So
if we have time, we'll have Ronnie explain his X's and O's theory later.
But you know what I would love? I would love if they do some sort of multiversal battle like they did Endgame style, that they pull an evil Hulk. Like Kang is Kang drops like a world breaker Hulk.
Is Red Hulk evil Hulk?
Yeah, that's Thaddeus Ross.
Okay.
Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross takes on that. He's the Red Hulk. But imagine like Kang's like, I don't need to fight the Avengers. I can make them fight themselves. And he just starts opening portals. And one of them is like a Savage Hulk.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
Oh, man.
Savage Hulk. Yes, I know
Savage
that one.
Hulk, World War Hulk, that's the Hulk that comes back after Planet Hulk. And he almost destroys the entire world.
Yeah.
So like having that kind of like the possibilities are endless. But like Ronnie said, Hulk was one of those characters that really got sidelined big time, especially in Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Like, don't get us wrong, we laughed when we first saw him, sitting in the diner, and Ant-Man's like, I'm so confused.
But my thing with the Hulk is the only thing I feel people remember is Puny God.
Beauty.
That's it.
And Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok, yes.
So many stairs.
Yeah. Like there's nothing that draws your attention to the Hulk, which is sad because he's the strongest Avenger.
Because I think we're drawn more to Mark Ruffalo's character more than the Hulk.
Which is funny because I really liked the Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah.
I still stand by that movie.
I have also on my wish list that the Inhumans never return ever again.
I'll disagree with that. I think the Inhumans could be brought back into the fold after Eternals. God. I think if they want to try again.
Try again. They were just as a refresher, if you guys remember, when they made the Inhumans, do you remember that they premiered the first episode on IMAX screens?
Yes, because they originally it was supposed to be a movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's that bad. I also have... Okay, here's a big one, which is a little different. I would love to see a lot more diversity. And here's what I'm thinking. I just recently watched Shadow and Bone. Mm-hmm. It was okay. It was a little narratively confusing at times. However, the casting for it is just so amazingly impressive because every character is like from different countries, different racial backgrounds, different ethnicities, and it was so cool to just see so many different kinds of people in this one world. There were, we really haven't gotten any LGBTQ characters other than Loki's recent admission of being, bisexual. I would love to see a tremendous amount more diversity because we've seen way too many just white males.
I think they're making strides towards that. So I think they're on the right track with stuff like that. That's why Inhumans would be a really good example, or X-Men would be a good example, because I really want them to bring the X-Men into the Marvel Universe. Say what you will about the X-Men.
They will. It's funny you say that.
It's funny you say that. I know they're not sure how they want to do it yet, but I think...
Oh, I could tell you.
Oh, yeah, Ronnie? How are they going to bring the X-Men
in?
in?
Ronnie, go for it.
Because this is on my wish list.
Oh.
Deadpool.
All right.
Okay.
Right, because we got the teaser, but it's not
the
really official or anything like that. So that is my wish list, is to have Deadpool associated with the MCU.
How?
The Time Variance Authority's after him.
He's holding up a finger, guys.
I think the TVA should be after him.
So you have, obviously, just making small cameos in your PG-13 movies, different things like that, where maybe he's just in it. Maybe he doesn't say anything except for like chimichangas and stuff like that, But then also X-Men, for instance, right? Morbius, Blade, R-rated movies. You can have Deadpool in those. Obviously, you probably won't, but I'm just saying though, you're getting kind of more R-rated movies from the Marvel now with these.
I think Morbius is PG-13 though.
I don't think it's been rated yet.
Probably not.
But it could be R though.
Marvel has not had a good success rate with R-rated movies since Blade.
Yeah,
Blade 2.
But what I'm saying though is Morbius could be R. It almost should be R based off of the character. But you're having Blade. Blade is going to be an R-rated movie. I'd be surprised if it's not.
Right now, Morbius is not rated. It hasn't been submitted to the MPAA.
So I think Marvel will... I'm saying Marvel, but I'm also saying Disney. I think needs to realize that you're buying these properties that 30-something, 20-something, 40, 50-year-olds know, love, and watch. They are able to watch a movie with a couple F-bombs, with some violence into it. Obviously, yes, you have your kids that are still going to probably want to watch it, but again...
Timmy when he was 7.
Yeah, right? But then again, how many kids do you know are watching and reading, or reading, comic books? Not that many. Sure. They're all teenagers.
Yeah.
And up. So why can't you start making R-rated stuff if you're Marvel/Disney.
Okay.
You know, you could, because if it's in a movie, you're able to kind of regulate who goes to see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't have a bunch of 10-year-olds going in. You know, you have to be 17 or older with a parent or this and that. So if a parent's willing to have their 10-year-old go watch the movie, to go watch this R-rated comic book movie, make the goddamn movie and make a lot of money.
Okay.
Language.
Did Cap just say language?
That's all right. We can't get an R rating. Oh, that was only one.
That was only one.
All right.
I need two.
Other things I'm wishing for. It was released this week from the writers of Loki that they actually filmed a fight between Loki and Throg. Release the Throg cut.
That's funny.
They did. It's in the can. So now they just got to...
That 2-minute clip?
We released the Zemo clip.
Zemo,
Why
yeah.
not the Throg cut?
That's funny.
All right, then.
I also have inclusion of the following lesser-known Marvel characters. I think these people should be in there.
Valkyrie.
In addition to Morbius and Blade, we should have Bessie the Vampire Cow, also known as Hell Cow. Hell Cow should absolutely be canon. We should also have the character of Lester Verde. Are you familiar with him? Lester Verde?
Vaguely.
Also known as Dr. Bong. And they should be battling the Living Eraser, who is just who you think it is.
I stopped recording.
In addition to this, I would also like to... My wish list is for the very first Marvel DC crossover to happen in Phase 4.
They will never do it.
Forks on the Left.
Oh, yeah.
A comedy of manners with Alfred
And Jarvis.
That's going to end Phase 4.
I'm telling you, Forks on the Left is these two in a world of absolute chaos.
Oh, damn it.
In a world of chaos and confusion of a multiverse, Jarvis and Alfred are here to say, forks on the left.
Now, does the fork go on the inside or the outside?
Fork goes, well, it depends. If it is the salad fork, it goes on the far outside.
Yes.
And then the dinner fork, and the dessert fork goes at the top.
Yes.
So, fan feedback
and
Friday
the spoon
today.
And the spoon and the knife go on the right side.
Knife first, then
Yes.
spoon.
And the blade faces into the plate.
I'm just going to edit this all out.
No, the blade faces.
But what if you go to grab the spoon?
Salad
you can cut
plates
yourself
go on top. See, this is why we need forks on the left.
This is why people tune out after like 45 minutes. But I think that's pretty much going to
that's my wish list. Do you have anything else on your wish list?
No, I did have.
Oh.
I did have one more. Sorry. Ronin.
Ronin, as
Meaning
in
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's Ronin.
Hawkeye's Ronin. Because we got a little taste of it.
They're going to retire or kill him by the end of Hawkeye.
No, they will not.
You also said Loki was going to die at the end of season 1.
He got pruned.
Exactly, he didn't die.
A lot of Lokis died
Yeah,
a lot of Lokis
And had
died.
their hands bit
No,
off.
I whether it's a movie or whether it's a season 2 or whatever, I think what's going to end up happening is because we have Yelena, right? Is that how you say her name? Going to most likely be in Hawkeye, the series.
Yes.
I would not be surprised if at the end of it, he's now turning into Ronin and ending up teaming up with Madam Hydra, U.S. Agent, and Yelena. See? Knowledge. Don't hate me.
I really liked you to begin with. So.
I know. But you can still not hate me.
That's fair. But that's going to wrap us up for our Marvel discussion. We do have our Fan Feedback Friday.
It's Friday.
It will be really interesting, before you get into that, to revisit this episode in like a year.
Oh, I'm psyched.
Oh,
I'm going
yeah.
to re-upload it
And see
for
how
people.
correct I was. I mean, we were.
Even by December to revisit this,
Yeah.
that would be interesting.
Watch tomorrow, like all this news and trailers drops. We're just like, dang it.
We were completely wrong.
Can you guys come back over to record?
Edit. Fan Feedback Friday.
All right, so today's question was, what is the greatest live-action superhero TV show? We had a couple of responses. We had Amazon's The Tick for 2 seasons. That was a good show. I did see bits and pieces of it.
Oh, yeah, if you... it's fantastic. What's his name plays one of the main villains in it from the Watchmen, Rorschach.
Really?
Not Haley Joel Osment.
Jackie Earl
Haley.
There it is. Haley and 3 names.
Haley Joel
I got
Osment
this.
was in The Boys.
Yeah, he was in The Boys.
Yeah, he's in The Tick, and he's a riot. The Tick, I cannot promote The Tick enough. You really need to see it on Amazon. It was a shame.
I always
that
like
it
the
didn't
one
get...
with Patrick Warburton.
That one was okay for an episode or two. This one it's such a full, complete story that comes full circle as well.
Yeah.
I would encourage you to watch both seasons on Amazon.
Okay.
Heroes, which I know I was
terrible.
The original show was really good.
Heroes Were Born. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
that.
Heroes Were Born was terrible. We were so excited. Ronnie and I watched all of it.
Yeah.
I think we almost
Unfortunately.
we almost started the podcast back up at that point for it because
Worse than
make fun of
Inhumans?
I did not see Inhumans because I heard how terrible it was. So I don't know.
Heroes Reborn was not worse than Inhumans.
Okay.
It's still really bad, but Inhumans is just a whole level of bad, especially just because it has the Marvel name to it. Oh my god!
And your main character doesn't speak; he just glares.
No, he does sign language.
Oh, barely. That's not sign language. That's like just wildly gesticulating once in a while.
No, they made their own language for Black Bolt and Inhumans.
But he only spoke that language
because he was by himself most of the time.
3 words an episode.
But he was by himself most of the time. That's the problem.
So that's, again, a design flaw of the show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see another
Then we had Arrow.
Arrow is very
Are you going to make me defend this on air right now?
No, we love Arrow. We're big fans of Arrow. It was one of those shows that went through a lot of highs and lows, but always was.
And it bowed out gracefully.
It did. Yeah, it did. Unlike the Flash that just did lightsabers with Speed Force.
Oh, good lord.
Speed Force lightsabers. But we would love to hear from you guys. Ronnie, how are some ways that people can get in touch with us?
Well, you can find us on Facebook. Just look up the Multiverse Fancast or even the Misfit Faction. Speaking of which, you can check out the website, themisfitfaction.com, where you can find Rob's articles on everything from Loki to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier to Venom, which was his favorite of all time. You know, all those great stuff on there.
And soon to have What If episode recaps and reviews.
Definitely. And also you can find us on Instagram, The Misfit Faction. And you can check us out on YouTube, The Misfit Faction Media Network, as well as on the Twitter.
On the Twitter.
On the Twitter. Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yes, all of our brand new episodes get uploaded almost automatically to all those different platforms. Yes. If you guys have an iPhone, you have Apple Podcasts. You could be listening to us and comment.
Now.
Yeah, like right now. Comment, subscribe, all that jazz. It really helps us out. It puts us higher up on the rating so that people can see us and, you know, algorithms and Facebook and all that stuff. So the more you guys interact with us, the better it is.
Subscribe.
Comment, and subscribe.
Not only that,
Mash
but like
that likes.
Think of it this way: we do this for free, right? We don't
funsies.
For funsies, right?
He pays me. What are you talking about? You don't get paid?
What the fridge?
You guys are getting paid.
But yeah, like we do this for free. So the best way to kind of spread this to all your friends and everything is to definitely just to share it. If you like it, share it. If you don't like it, you don't have to. But still do, because that's so nice. Why are you listening then? Exactly. You know, but that's the way that we kind of get around. In order for us to be able to give you more content and better content, obviously we need to grow. So the best way for us to grow is for you to share our episodes, to like them, download them, and all this stuff with all your friends and family.
And now that we've appealed to your humanity, I think that's going to wrap us up for tonight. So as always, I'm Paul.
I'm Ronnie.
I'm Rob.
And we'll be back in a flash.
Smorgasbord!
See ya.
So loud.